right, it's that time again where we gotta talk about what I think is the top three league starter ascendancies this upcoming league, or not ascendancies, but classes. Sorry, and honestly, it's gonna look a little bit similar to the previous leagues, except I am gonna swap around some stuff. I still feel like the number one will be the Witch, just because we have massively good starter builds for the Witch, whether you play Lich, Infernalist, Blood Mage, Abyssal Lich. All four ascendancies has incredibly strong starters. It has really, really, really good endgame builds. Even though there is a couple of nerfs here and there, there is just so many so many skills that are able to be played on that on that class alone, that I do think that there is a high chance that the Blood Mage will kind of reign supreme again. However, like the Infernalist and the Lich is both incredibly good as well, right? So there's a lot of potential there, and that's why that's gonna be my absolute number one pick. It's been the reigning master for the previous leagues, and I don't think that'll change, especially not when we got a buff to the Blood Mage. And then there's like a handful of other builds for each ascendancy that are just really, really powerful and really good, both in the end game and early. So it's hard for me to say that there will be something that's gonna outperform that just as a starter, right? Like I just highly, highly think that that's still gonna be the best one. Now, for my second pick, it's gonna be a little bit different. Here I'm gonna pick the Huntress, and that is kind of still a little bit, you could say, like up in the air type deal, if it actually is gonna be as good as I think it is. But the new ascendancy looks absolutely phenomenal. The ritual list is already like extremely good on multiple different things. One thing I really like with the ritual list is like using that for a rarity bot is just god tier, and it'll make you a lot of currency. It'll give you a lot of people who wants to play with you and stuff like that. And then you have the Amazon, which is also incredibly like nice. You know what I mean? Like that is a really good ascendancy, even though it's been nerfed a little bit. It's still a quite powerful ascendancy in my opinion. And given that there hasn't been a nerf to Twisters, at least not what we know of so far, Twisters is just absolutely goated. If you haven't tried that yet, I would suggest trying it out at least, because it's just phenomenal. It works really well. It has tons of power. It has tons of clear speed, tons of AoE. It's just an overall really, really good like play style. But there's multiple other things you can do, right? Like you don't actually have to do Twisters. There's so many other things that can be done with the Huntress. So I truly think that we're going like Witch, Huntress, and then for the last one, I'm kind of thinking that we are either gonna see somewhat of a resurgence, like see the Druid come, like especially the Oracle, I think might actually be really, really strong. Um, it I could see a world where it might not be as strong as it was this league, because this league it was really powerful, to be honest. My Oracle does absolutely insane damage. Like it's incredibly strong. Um, will it measure up to the Huntress and the Witch? I'm not entirely sure that that's gonna happen, but I still see it as a potential for a really, really strong setup in the end game. Now, early game, it's definitely really nice. Like, there's multiple different things you can play with it. I used the ED Contagion, honestly, to level it, because it's just so easy to level through the campaign with that. So yeah, and then swapping into the Wolf build later. However, there was a couple of nerfs to the Wolf build, like itself, but I could see like some cast on crit or some other stuff being really, really exceptionally good for the Druid for sure. However, there is a world where the sword becomes better now, just because of the buffs that we have seen to the Chronomancer and whatnot, and that has high potential in my opinion as well. And there's multiple. Again, the sword was lagging kind of, I would say, a little bit, but with the new ascendancy we got, the Disciple of Rasta, and having the Chronomancer being changed, both really does kind of push it towards the top end, in my opinion. I really, really like it. Now, there's warrior nerfs. Surprise, surprise. That's basically been the theme of the game so far. But in all honesty, in terms of melee, there's just not a whole lot of melee that I personally enjoy. So I think you have to be like really like a melee enjoyer to play it. Because if you're not necessarily a melee enjoyer, then playing melee builds kinda sucks still, in my opinion at least. Like there's obviously builds that are pretty like sick, right? But just I just do not like the feeling of them. They still feel slow and still feel like you get a lot of punishment in comparison to other builds, right? Like I'm trying to think of something that's really well. There is the I was about to call it Cyclone, but that's not what it's called in PoE2. There is that basic build with the, I think it's the Titan or something like that, which does look good and does look somewhat and like enjoyable, but just most of the mace skills, to be fair, is like not really my playstyle. If I have to play melee, it's definitely the monk skills I'll go for first and foremost. Just they feel more, they it feels faster, more movable, more like defensible. There's just a lot of things that like prevents me from wanting to play melee on the warrior side of things, or like in the mace category. I really just, I don't know, man. It just does not feel as rewarding as everything else. That might be my opinion, right? Like, because to be fair, I've only ever really played 3 warrior builds, right? Like I had my Smith of Katana, that the build that Cicerone made that I tried out, which were not bad, but it got nerfed really harsh, so it's definitely not anywhere close to what it was, right? And then I played the Warbringer, which was the Warcry Corrupted Blood character that Pox played, which was also very interesting. Not bad. That build was actually really fire. It was fire on multiple occasions, right? Like it was fire in the first league. It was kind of fire in the second league as well, honestly. The third league, it was usable. It got a little bit of a nerf. Last league here, I don't remember. I don't remember if it got a buff. I feel like it did get a buff, or at least slightly buffed this league, but I don't fully remember. But I do think that the warrior, in my opinion, at the moment is the one character that's lagging the most in terms of like fun builds, I think. But it could also just be me who haven't explored it enough, just because the maze skills in general is just not really my playstyle. And then I played the Titan, which were the what was it called? The molten lava shots thing, the projectiles, which that thing was kind of crazy. Honestly, that was kind of wild, but it just wasn't quite where it needed to be, in my opinion. But I'm really happy with the patch notes, right? Like, because there's a lot of things that's being changed. There's a lot of bugs that's being fixed. There's a lot of necessary changes that's happening. And I think this is kind of shaking up to become the best league we've had so far. More so, not just because of all the changes, but also just the more like streamlined. They're like putting a more streamlined campaign and a more direct line to follow straight into the end game from map or from the campaign, right? Which I think was something that was really needed, because newer players is something I've noticed is having a lot harder time figuring out what the end game actually is and how to play it. Whereas if you, like me, have played working for 5,000 hours of PoE1 already, then the end game is a lot easier to like kind of understand and see what's going on, right? But yeah, man, I hope this kind of gave you a little bit of inspiration to what to do with the league starters. And yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good jazz.